how long you've been involved with the Republican Party? Maybe 46 years, as some people claim. I don't know, 2 years, 4 years. The thing is that we have the best executive committee ever. The stresses of this job are unbelievable. We see how lawfare is working and how Trump is under attack. Bannon, my good friend Steve Bannon, is under attack. Yeah. We're all going to be under attack. Yeah. And we can't put up for this. And if we don't stay united like we are, we're lost. So when I look at all of you and I see this sea of red, especially with Dorthy Moon on your shirt, thank you. I'm here for you. I think you all know that. It's not for me. I'm not looking. Oh, I was asked today by Nate Eaton with the East Idaho News. So are you going to run for governor? I said, hell no. Are you going to run for Secretary of State? No, we'll just keep beating up on him. But the thing is, you are my army. Right after I took the gavel in June of 2020, and I went to the first Chicago meeting, guess what? The National Committee man and committee woman did not show up because they didn't want to be there with Dorthy. They did not send their proxies, so you lost 2 votes out of the 168. We were in Las Vegas, and we were going to get rid of Ronna McDaniel, and we had to go back 2 weeks later to Houston at about $1,500 a flight. They just push and push to see how far they can push you. But I want you to know we're working over the RNC too. I am with a group of chairmen and chairwomen around this country who see the things like we see it. The establishment was slandering them. They were libeling them. They were horrible to them. The same thing. But you know who they look to? They look to Idaho. We're leading the way, and we're leading by example. So when someone thinks they're going to do a better job than me, I want to hear how you're going to do it. Because right now, I think I've done the best I could for all of you and for this state. With Bryan Smith and with Steve Bender and Maria Nate and Mark Fuller and Vicki Keene is our next National Committee woman. Where's Vicki Purdy? Oh, Vicki, it's hard to see. And Vicki Purdy, if you don't know her, she is a patriot. During COVID, there was a gentleman in a senior community center. The family wanted him out. He was dying in there. And by golly, as the Adams County Commissioner, she pulled him out of there. And they wanted to keep him. And she saved his life. She saved his life. So this will be your second vice chair. I couldn't be more proud of this entire team.
I've been involved with the party since 2008, and I was region chair for 8 years. This will be different, but I'm county commissioner in Adams County, and what I do is I treat people right. And when they're being treated badly, like during COVID, I'm on the health district board. We had one young gal who emailed me and thanked me for fighting back on the masks because she was suicidal. And the health district's crisis center would not let her in because she wouldn't wear a mask. It was all for money, and it was all incentivized by the federal government. The health district all they do is push forward a federal agenda. That's all they do, and they spend millions and millions of dollars in our tax dollars to do it. Anyway, thank you all very much.
Anybody listen to AM radio on Saturday morning? No. Nobody listened to this either. It was supposed to be run half by the state party and half by Ada County. We called it the Tom and Victor Show. It cost $2,900 a month to run that program. They began an investigation at the Federal Communications Commission, investigating how that program was reported by the radio station. And they made a determination that it wasn't being properly reported. Okay? Because of that, they entered into what's called a consent agreement. To avoid trial, the radio station agreed to pay them $500,000 for running that program. It wasn't for running it, it was for the way they didn't report it, or improper reporting. And so that radio station now pays $30,000 a quarter until they paid them $500,000. If we were still involved in that program, we might well have been brought into that mess. Okay, I don't know how they would have brought us in, but I'm just so glad it was the very first thing. It was, all of us said, this goes, it's gone. Tom ran it for a little while by himself afterwards, but then even he's dropped it. And I actually invited people to pray for Tom. And we supported him. We invited him to our Lincoln Days. I fulfilled assignments for him. I was one of his strongest supporters until the day he sued us. Okay, it took us over almost 3 months to get that lawsuit resolved, in part because we were negotiating with Bonneville County that had been wrongfully sued. But the end of the negotiations was that the lawsuit got dropped and the state party didn't have to pay their attorney fees. We believe that saved us another $30,000 or $40,000. Okay, so that was the first 3 months. In that first 3 months, we figure we saved, in the longer term, about $100,000. Okay, Dorothy's fundraising has been amazing since then.
Dorothy has endured so much garbage from the press, from other people in Idaho, and as women, they are especially nasty to us. But we are strong, and we don't back down, and we will not let the terrorists win. No, no, because we fight for you.
For the last 2 years, with the help of Doyle Beck and the members of his Financial Review Committee, we have made sure that everything was properly accounted for. I told the committee, you have to give us a requires review, which in my generation is an F, and that means failure. Something they don't like to talk about in the schools these days. But Doyle and I put together a correction action plan. We fixed it. We got a budget in place, and we have followed that budget. And our money has been 100% accounted for the last 2 years. You cannot operate an organization like the Idaho Republican Party if you don't have reliable income. So we changed that rule, and we went from 18 to 20 counties paying to 43. And the only county that didn't pay
Isn't here
because the rule says they got 0 delegates. And to be fair, they couldn't pay. They only had $500 in the bank because they gave Greg Cheney $10,000 to sue the state party. And lose. So, they're not here. But you are getting value for that money. There are many counties, when you go to the local parties, you can click on the link and go to their website because we're providing it to the county free. All the cards you got for ranked choice voting, declined to sign, and now don't vote for it. We're giving you, we printed tens of thousands of cards that we're passing out to the counties. Again, free. There's the convention. Gonna break the streak there, not free. But also not $150. I've only been in Idaho 5 years, but my uncle was director of law enforcement for the state. Kootenai, he was your sheriff for 10 years back in the 60s and 70s. I heard stories as a kid about Idaho, and I always wanted to come here. It's been the 5 best years of my life, particularly since after about 6 weeks, I went back to knocking doors in Eagle, became a PC, became the Ada County treasurer, where they had the same problems with no budget and no books. Fixed it there, so I knew how to fix it here at the state. I have done my best to make sure that every dollar that each of you and your fellow neighbors and friends back home have donated to this party is not only properly accounted for, but properly spent. And one thing that no one can ever accuse Dorthy Moon of is wasting your contributions.
When they told me, as the national committee man, you could go to the RNC and deliver a message from the grassroots, I said, I'm your guy. RNC, that must stand for Rhinos Need Counseling. I'll do here's the deal, okay? If you're old like me, you remember like the Encyclopedia Britannica and all those encyclopedias? The way they used to do it in the encyclopedia world is all the smart guys got together and they would tell you an encyclopedia what the truth is, okay? So the knowledge came from the top down. Remember how that was? And then we got Wikipedia. And the grassroots, they just go on there and they educate people about stuff. And it turns out that the encyclopedias became dinosaurs and extinct, okay? Because Wikipedia, it turns out, it's more right more often than the guys with all the knowledge. You are the Wikipedia. The grassroots is percolating in this state. The rhinos are on the run. We need to take the same tactics to the National Committee. I will go to the rhinos and tell them they need counseling. Thank you.